Hey, Alex in Houston, Texas. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses with an anti-glare coating for your RayBan 5206 color 2479 in the 54 eye size. And let's go ahead and begin. Let's take this bad boy out of all the original packaging that RayBan sends me. This is your RayBan case, your RayBan cleaning cloth here, and of course your RayBan frame. And it comes with little plastic sleeve on the temple to protect the temples during shipping. I'm going to put that back on there when I ship to you, but for now I'm going to take it off. Of course, this is a rectangular black frame with the red RayBan print on the inside. Really cool color, one of my better seller ones now. So I'm going to take out the original demo lenses. One of them says RayBan. I'm going to take that out. Put this into my $30,000 Santanelli. This is the LE1000 patternless edger. And the stylus is going to pop up and trace the shape of the left lens. Then it's going to move over and trace the shape of the right. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic RayBan frame, and you will receive free, clear, single vision prescription lenses, or non-prescription fashion if that's your thing. I've been selling a lot of those lately for people who have vision insurance or flex dollars they want to spend. They don't wear prescription glasses, but they want to wear something really cool, so they get them from me and then get reimbursed from the insurance company. But I'm going to pull up the shape onto the computer. I'm going to put it in your pupillary distance of 62. These are polycarbonate lenses. I'm cutting for a Xyle frame, which is just an old school name for plastic. And believe it or not, you are rare. You are the same in both eyes. That rarely happens. Mine is 575 in both eyes. So I'm going to take the first lens out of its protective sleeve. Let me zero out my lensometer, make sure it's where it's supposed to be. It is. I'm going to turn the wheel to minus 575. I'm going to put it into my lensometer and find the optical center of your lens. Then I'm going to put a dot. Actually, I'm putting 3 dots on there, but I'm only going to darken one of them. And of course, this could be the right or the left eye. It really does not matter. Since you were the same in both, I'm going to do the same thing. Of course, now would be a good time for you to see all the dust on the top of my lensometer. Oh, too late. You got to be quick. Got to be quick to see how dirty everything is. So, this is the block, as I like to call him, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens in order to cut it. And 3M out of Minnesota makes some double-sided adhesive stickers. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick that onto the block. Pull the tape away to make my side sticky. Now essentially what I'm looking into is just like the crosshairs of a scope. I have a vertical meridian and a horizontal one. And that red dot that I put in the middle of your lens, I want to get that dead center of those crosshairs. That is your optical center. That's going to sit directly in front of your eye. I'm going to do the same thing now for the left lens. Put that in there, pull the tape away, make my side sticky, and then let's put the block on there. Now because of your anti-glare coating, it makes it a little bit extra slippery when cutting, so I'm going to put another sticker on the back surface of the lens to protect it from slipping. So I'm going to put that on one side, this on the other. Then I'm going to take your lens and put it into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know it well enough to call it chuck. But the first thing that's going to happen is the calipers are going to come down. It's going to trace the shape of the right side of your frame to make sure the lens is large enough to fit, and it is. But it's starting with the rear surface, the back surface closest to your eyelashes, then it's going to move over and trace the front surface of the lens, which is the convex surface. All the while measuring the thickness as it goes around to know exactly where to place the bevel so it fits best inside the frame. Now the actual cutting wheel is down here on the bottom left. It's that lighter color wheel that's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper that's going to grind away your lens material. And this wheel in the center with that little channel, that valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the frame. I will have to close the door in just a moment, but for now I just want you to see as your prescription lens touches down on the cutting wheel. So your lenses are polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is also virtually unbreakable. It is bulletproof up to .22 caliber and has both UVA and UVB protection built into it. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Now, it's also an aspheric lens. Aspheric means not spherical. A spherical lens gives you that ugly, round, fishbowl cosmetic appearance. These lenses have a much flatter curvature, so it's going to fit well inside the frame and give you another great cosmetic appearance. And speaking of cosmetics, the anti-glare coating. It's actually 3 features in one. The first feature is it eliminates glare, particularly glare from driving at night in the rain, but from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead, fluorescent lights. It's also a reflection-free lens. You can see how this lens here that does not have that coating shows you the reflection of the lights above. So it makes for much better eye contact. When someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. Or more importantly, if someone takes a picture with the flash, you won't see the flash lit up in the lens. You'll see just your eyes. Now the third feature that I like, which is the practical side, is it comes with the best scratch coating in the business. The machine itself that applies the coating costs $1 million and it takes 24 hours. So they want to protect your coating by putting the best scratch protection in the business. Now if you notice, your lens is completely flat, just like a nickel. I could take it out now and it would stand on the counter, but in just a moment the bevel would be placed onto the lens. Now if you also notice, there is water running in the background, but polycarbonate cuts dry where plastic and high index lenses cut wet. For the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, now it's moving over for the bevel, and it's going to get loud again in just a moment. Right when we get to the thickest part of the lens, you will hear it get loud. But as I was saying, the last 20 seconds, 2 water jets will kick in to try and wash away this optical debris that's left over from the cutting cycle. One jet is in the front here, the other jet is in the back. They will kick in to start washing all that away in just a moment, when it's the right time to do it. There we go, there we go. Now it's the right time. Of course it's washing it away, but I still love picking that stuff off as it goes around. Okay, in just a moment, the lens will stop cutting and we'll see if we can get it mounted into the frame. And that moment is now. So let me take the lens out. There's 2 things I want to do before we get it mounted in the frame. The first one is dry your lens off so it's not slippery while I work on it. The second one is you have some rough edges left over from the cutting cycle. So I want to smooth those out, and I'm going to use my hand stone, which is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running and my finger gets warm due to the friction. But it's that friction that allows me to apply what's known as the safety bevel. So I'm going to use my thumbnail now to scrape all that off. And once it's all off of your lens and onto the counter, I carefully collect it into one pile and then I wipe it on the floor. Because this is where I say, kids, stay in school. I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like that. So kids, if you want to grow up and make a mess, you gotta stay in school. So let's go ahead and get the lens mounted into the frame. I have the frame turned upright, and the side I'm working on closest to me, I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner, and using my thumbs I press down at the nose. It snaps in perfectly. So I want to go ahead, flip this over to L, which stands for not right, and hit the start button. And just like before, the calipers are going to come down, but this time they're going to trace the shape of the left side of your frame to make sure it's large enough to fit in there, and of course it is. But it's just a routine operation that goes through it every time. Always starting with the rear surface, the concave surface, before moving over and tracing the convex front surface of the lens. Now you have no astigmatism, but if you did, you would have different thicknesses all the way around your lens, and that's why it's tracing both sides of the lens to know where to move the lens so it fits best inside the frame. And in fact, you barely see any edge thickness at all in this frame. So this was a good choice for you. Of course, I know you say you tried it on somewhere else. And I had to order this frame for you because I did not have this color in stock. So I want to go ahead and remove this block. Where's my D blocker? There it is. Break the traction, pull that off. And I'm going to pull the sticker off. I'm going to keep that red dot on there because I'm going to need to use that to take a measurement later on. But your prescription reads -575 in both eyes. The unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, and it's spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, and starts at 0 and goes, also known as plano, better off known as non-prescription, and goes up in 0.25 increments, starting at 0, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on till we get to minus 575. You need 23 steps of correction. Without your glasses on, everything is much larger than it really is. So when you put your glasses on, it will minify down to the correct size. So if you were on a ladder, you're on the 23rd rung of a ladder. But that's okay, I can fix it. But yeah, so you're very myopic, meaning that you are nearsighted. You can see great up close from about where I'm holding this card. From about this card inward, anything beyond this reach, it starts to get blurry. And of course, anything beyond arm's reach is going to be very blurry. Now, again, as I say, your lens is minified. You can see the print there in the background as I move the frames over. You can see how it shrinks the lenses down. So that on your retina, in the back of your eye, everything is displayed at the correct size. This is a great frame with spring hinges. There's not a lot of plastic frames that come with spring hinges, but this one is. That'll hold its shape very well. The classic rectangular black will go with everything. I sell more black for that very reason. It's professional, it's studious, it's formal, matches every outfit. And of course, you had to go with a little bit of trim color, which is the red with the white RayBan print on the inside. I see some Schwarf. That is called Schwarf. May the Schwarf be with you if you're a Mel Brooks Spaceballs fan. Now it's putting the bevel onto the edge, which is a knife-like bevel. A very dull knife like me, but a knife-like edge nonetheless. Although that bevel, speaking of knives, should be sharp enough to cut a piece of wet tissue, providing that you soak the tissue in a bucket of water overnight, then using all your strength you can press down on the lens and you just might be able to cut through that tissue. Of course, you could probably blow a hole right through it too, either way. Oops, hopefully water didn't splash on the lens. Let me dry that off. So Alex in Houston, how are your Texans doing this year? I have not watched any football. It's still early in the season. Okay. Out comes your lens. Let me dry it off. Turn that off so you don't get any psychedelic effects. How's that? Ooh. How's that look on the camera? All right, I'll turn that back off. So again, back to the handstone. Back to the safety bevel real quick. Back to using my thumbnail to scrape this off. And I do this so much in the course of a day, I've worn a V-shaped bevel into my thumbnail. So Alex, you're the reason I can't have a nice thumbnail. But again, I collect it all onto the counter. Once it's on the counter, kids, watch this behind the back. Woo, look at that technique, kids. Kids, stay in school. How many times I gotta tell you? So, I'm gonna tuck it in at the outside corner first, then using the thumbs, I press down at the nose, it snaps in perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and take this block off. And while I am cleaning the dots off your lenses, actually I do want to do one measurement first. Your pupillary distance is 62, so I'm gonna place the 0 on my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then we hold it up on the left lens. We're getting 62 millimeters, so that is measured perfectly. Now when I clean your lenses off, I usually like to take this time to mention that when you get these in the mail, and by the way, free shipping for anyone in the US, but when you get these in the mail and these are too loose or too tight, you can stop by your local optical shop, but more than likely one side of these will be higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. And that's why generally about 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. but I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. I have one ear that's higher than the other. And I'm wearing the RayBan 2132 New Wayfarer in color 6012, which is the tortoise beige, to go with my brown and beige that I am wearing today. I pop my lenses out of one frame every day depending on what I'm wearing, so I'm always matching. But I'm going to flip that over, press down. There is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly. Same amount of tension on each hinge, and there is. So that's that. If anyone has any questions just about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the Contact Me button on the website. Alex in Houston, Texas, I hope you enjoyed watching as I made prescription lenses with an anti-glare coating for your RayBan 5206 in the 54 eye size, and this is color 2479. It's hard to tell on here. Let me see. It's got the SKU code. Color 2479. Of course, this frame sells for $150. The anti-glare coating adds $39.99, so your total payment was $199.99. There's a lot of nines in that sentence. And of course, free prescription lenses when you buy the frames. All you paid for was the upgrade to the anti-glare coating. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed watching, and everyone else got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.